Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of Justin Talks TV. I'm excited to bring you this brand new episode of the podcast. So, today I'm going to be talking about the HBO hit comedy called Hacks. Hacks is, to give you a little bit of background if you've never heard of it, Hacks is about Deborah Vance, a legendary Las Vegas stand-up comedy diva who needs to like reinvent and like change up her act that's like aging so she doesn't lose her residency at the Palmetto Casino in Vegas. And to help with that, this young comedy writer Ava, who like can't find work now, and she's been canceled due to like this insensitive tweet she made. Now she's forced to work with Deborah and be her new joke writer and help her freshen up her act. And Ava's very like self-centered and arrogant and like kind of thinks she knows everything. And Deborah thinks like she doesn't need her act doesn't need fixing. She thinks it's fine, like she knows what she's doing and she doesn't need her help. And the premise of the series is basically that these two are constantly butting heads, like for most of the series. There are but like another way to like describe the show, it says like a dark mentorship forms between Deborah and Ava, which is kind of how you could describe it, because it is like they butt heads and they think they're so different, but they're actually very much the same. It turned into more of a mentorship kind of relationship as the series progresses, but it's mainly about a lot of it, especially first season, is like how different they are and how much they butt heads, and because of generational stuff and just our general dynamic is usually, and their ideas, like Ava, like they both think they know everything. Like Deborah thinks she knows that what her app needs and what works, and then Ava thinks she knows so well that it doesn't. So it's like a fun, like very bickering. The relationship's been described as like an old married couple, and it's very entertaining to watch. Honestly, I tried to watch Hacks last year, when it first came out, because like I was hearing stuff about it and like that was good or whatever, but I only ended up watching the first episode and like part of the second episode at the time. And then it got all these Emmy nominations last year, and like I still wasn't into it. So it was just like another show that I wasn't interested in, like at the Emmy Awards last year. But this year is poised to win Outstanding Comedy Series. And so that's what made me rewatch it again, or not again, like try it again to watch it. And I have to say, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I enjoy the show. It's a very good show. It's well written. It's well acted. It's pretty funny, and I do support it winning Outstanding Comedy Series. But however, I will say I'm like still actively rooting for Abbott Elementary or Blackish or like Barry for the like winner. Like for real, those are the ones I'm mainly rooting for, mainly Abbott Elementary, but I will take it if Hacks wins for sure. I will not be mad at all because it's a very good show. But personally, I do love Abbott Elementary and the network sitcom type thing more. But Hacks is definitely would be worthy of the title of Outstanding Comedy Series. But that's what made me rewatch or like try to watch it again, and it was a good watch. So I thought I'd tell you about like what I thought of the show, and maybe it'll bring you to watch it, especially as the Emmy nominations are coming out in like a month, which is exciting. I'm so excited for this year's Emmys. Like I haven't been excited about the Emmys like in a few years because like I don't know, last year was just a drag. It was just like no one. I don't know. I wasn't rooting for anybody. It was just. But I am excited for this year's Emmys. I've seen most of the uh, almost every show that's like poised to be nominated for outstanding comedy series, I'm familiar with some more of the dramas than usual, a little kind of sort of. So I'm very excited, and I'm definitely more in the know this year. Like I don't just have my completely biased opinions based off of the one show that I've seen. Now I feel like I can know and have an actual informed opinion about what should win and who should win. Um, so I'm very excited for this year's Emmys. But so Hacks, like I said, last year I tried to watch it. I wasn't super into it at first. I even I just watched the first full episode. I was like, okay, this could be interesting. I watched the second one, like right after. It was like kind of funny, but I don't know why I specifically fell off of it. Maybe I didn't think it was going to be for me, but I don't even remember why I specifically fell off of it. I don't remember thinking like this show is bad. Maybe it just needed some time for me to like warm up to it. I think that's what it was because of by a few more episodes after that, and I was pretty well into the show and liked it well enough to keep watching for sure and finish watching both seasons. But yeah, so I think that was what it was. It was like maybe it wouldn't be for you as another viewer to like maybe you would get into it earlier because it might like fit your sense of humor like more immediately. I don't even know how to describe the humor on the show exactly. It can be kind of like dark humor, like a little bit, like a slightly darker comedy. It's definitely not like a laugh out loud, like sitcom kind of thing. Of course, it's on HBO, so it's going to be a little more adult, obviously. Language, sexual jokes, stuff like that. And like, of course, she's a stand-up comedian in the show. So, it does have like that kind of thing of like there are definitely stand-up elements and like joke writing and there's also insult slash observational humor, which I kind of like that to be honest. I kind of like just not necessarily insult humor, but like observational type stuff, like someone like almost like teasing. It's like basically a lot of teasing and like, back and forth jabs, but it's not like supposed to be like outright cruel. So that's the kind of humor it is. But you might get into it faster. But once I got into it, I liked it. But it's hard to say I liked a lot of the characters at first. Like I definitely didn't like Ava. She was too like annoying, like millennial, like type. Like it was like she was super annoying and like she was very like arrogant and like basically all the things that like the series was acknowledging that she was and like she herself was acknowledging like her own flaws, which I think was good because some people can be so unaware of their own flaws. But I think the show did a good job of embracing each character's flaws and having them be aware of their flaws and then being called out and stuff like that. But I have to say, characters, it was hard to like them like at first for sure. Like it felt like I didn't really like any of the characters specifically. I think by the end of the two seasons, I liked let's see, who do I like for real? I mean, I kind of like the Jimmy character. It was like Deborah and Ava's manager. I kind of like Deborah more. She kind of became more likable as time went on. Um, Ava became more likable as time went on. The characters they're like these people that aren't great. They need like work. So you kind of want to root for them, but also you may not like them at first. That was just my experience. But I think that just shows it kind of like explains how well the character growth was in the show by even by the end of the first season, you can see, growth between these characters and the relationship between Ava and Deborah, which is obviously the most important as they are the center of the series. And, eventually they end up bonding a little more until things kind of blow up that are like Ava's fault entirely. Um, well, mainly Ava's fault, but I'll circle back to that. But character growth in the show is so good, and that's like something I love on the show. If the characters have good growth, I am like so sold. I love character growth. I mean, who doesn't? Who wants to just see the characters stay the same like forever? I mean, that's just not even a good show if they're just always the same until like the last episode or something. But the character growth was like spread out and could even like it was spread out, but also like could even like go backwards at times. Cause maybe like their growth kind of like went back because certain things that happen can like sort of derail your growth like a little bit. Um but overall, the series had like great character growth from every character, really, like from Deborah to Ava to Jimmy to Marcus. If you're familiar with the show, this all makes sense. But just keep up with me a little bit if you're just getting used to the show. I'm trying not to give too many like just flat out spoilers. Because I kind of want you, the viewer, to like maybe check it out yourself and that sort of thing. But yeah, Ava does have not just Ava, but everybody has good growth. And I really like that about the show is that you can see that these characters are growing and changing and learning from mistakes and different things like that. Like over time, like, Ava and Deborah like start off as like they're just so annoyed completely with each other. Like as don't even want to be around each other. It's just like seems like the worst fit ever. They don't even care about each other for real. Like, they just are complete opposites and just cannot get along whatsoever. And then by even like midway ish through the first season, you can kind of see that changing a little bit. By episode I want to say five. I want to say by episode 5, 6 ish, is when you can kind of see their relationship shifting in a whole new direction. Because there are 10 episodes in the first season, and by halfway through the first season, you do want to have something that like not necessarily a little bit of a cliffhanger or something that like keeps the audience going till the end of the season, some sort of arc or something like that. And they did a good job with that of showing that Ava and Deborah could grow by even a little bit by the middle of the first season, so that by watching the rest of the season till the finale, you're very interested in their storyline and what's going to happen next. And is the relationship going to stay good or is it going to go sour? Which it does go sour a little bit by the end of the first season, but it comes back around. Like I said, it's kind of a part of this growth cycle that I'm talking about. That makes the show so interesting. So the characters are so well fleshed out. It's like amazing, like just watching how well these creators can, flesh out, these characters and make them feel so real and make you feel for them. Like at some parts and then be annoyed with them at different parts. That's what like a character should be, you know. And I think it's just Hacks just has really good character growth and character development. And I think the characters is like really what's the most interesting part to watch and their dynamics between each other and like just who they are as people. And it's so interesting. The first season, it wasn't not funny for sure, but I felt like I laughed more and enjoyed the humor more in the second season. I felt like that one, once everything was so established and there was more time for the humor to like really come out more, besides just the stuff that's usually said, like her stand-up sets or them just poking jabs at each other. Like I felt like there's more like actual jokes in season two, and I really like that. Maybe that's why it feels more poised to win outstanding comedy series more so than it was last year. I know it's on the list last year, but I can kind of see now why it's definitely edging out Ted Lasso, who won last year. So, um, but yeah, so I think season one, I felt like it was so much. I felt like I was so much more intrigued by the story. Not to say that season two is not intriguing. It absolutely was. Do not get me wrong. But like I felt like, you know, it was more about establishing the story the first season than like the laughs and stuff. And I felt like when they got comfortable and they knew people were watching and everything, they could really get into like both the humor line and the storyline as well, which made the show just even better. Because I even saw other stuff saying that the second season could possibly be better than the first one, and I agreed. I enjoyed the second season more than the first one. Um, but of course, both are very well done and go great with the story. Um, so I think if you're looking for like a show like that just has good characters and just these great character growth, and like you see the flaws in these characters, and like you can kind of see where they're going or where they can go, and just something like that is just that's why Hacks is definitely a watch, and the acting is so well done. Like I want to say that Jean Smart won the Emmy last year for um outstanding lead actress in a comedy series. Um, but yeah, yeah, she did. Yeah, Jean Smart, who plays Deborah Vance, won outstanding lead actress in a comedy series last year for Hacks, and she's predicted to win again this year, which I think she does a great job. When I said in my Emmy predictions episode a couple episodes ago, I wasn't familiar for her performance, so I felt like I can say anything. I don't remember what I said specifically, but it was probably along those lines. But I was saying that I still wanted like maybe one of the other nominees to possibly win instead, because I like their performances so much. But obviously, Jean Smart definitely deserves something for her outstanding performance as Deborah Vance. She's very good. Basically, almost most actors that are in the show are predicted to be nominated. We're still in that phase of the Emmy season where the nominees aren't out yet. Nominations come out July 12th, so about three weeks away or so. I'm gonna be so excited for that. You're getting a special episode for when the Emmy nominations come out. But yeah, because the acting from basically every character is so well done and just worthy of being nominated, and um it's just the acting is, a cast the cast really can make or break a show. Like, you can have a great script, but like a cast that maybe doesn't, have the right chemistry or whatever. But like this cast really works so well. Like the characters work well together in their own stories and, growing together. So I think the actors really do a good job of putting, um, the words that are on the script and bringing them so alive to the screen. And, that's of course something you always want as a writer. Um, of course, Gene Smart has been in the business for so long. Of course, they probably, you know, knew, they wouldn't have to worry about her giving a bad performance or anything. But chemistry is so important too. Like the chemistry between um Deborah and Ava, like their characters are so good because they're actresses. Jean Smart plays Deborah, and Hannah Einbinder, one of those two pronunciations, I think is right, plays Ava, and they just have a good dynamic. You just really feel like their characters are like so real, and that just makes it so interesting. Um, and it's kind of interesting because one actor on the show is actually one of the co-creators of the show. The actor who plays Jimmy, who is manager to um, Deborah and Ava. He's their, agent and stuff. Of course, because entertainment personalities all have a manager or something like that. And so his name is Paul W. Downs in real life, and he co-created the show with his wife and another woman named Jen Statsky who worked on The Good Place. But yeah, so that's interesting that he acts on the show, and he does a good job in his role, like for sure too. Um, and the fact that he writes for it and is one of the co-creators and directs and everything, I think it's always really impressive when, you know, people can do like multiple jobs like that on a show like so flawlessly. Um, so it's all like they just get these interesting performances and their characters can all be so funny at so many different times, which I've grown to enjoy. Like I said, like the humor just kind of comes out. Like some characters are meant to be like they're supposed to be like the one for laughs, like for sure. And they all like kind of give you laughs and stuff in a different way. And that's also what can be so good about ensemble comedy is that's with all the different characters, you can get so much from each character to really keep the show going and to keep you entertained. So that's really just what makes Hacks work so well. Like the writing is just so like I just find myself so, amazed by the writing and the dialogue, like when watching it. And it can be very interesting as like me personally, who's like aspiring writer, creator, and like just thinking like, wow, they do dialogue and these stories so flawlessly, and like how they come up with that and how this ties into that. It's just like so interesting. I think, even like people who may not know a lot about, writing or whatever, but like they can still like tell how well written and well done the show is, like just the way these characters relationships I can see are written, like I can almost think of how they might have been fleshed out in the writers room or whatever. They're just like so interesting. And that's like something I really like about the show. I love when I can watch a show and just be so amazed by like and notice certain things that like are so important or maybe like slightly overlooked. I'd be like, wow, that shot is beautiful. That's a great shot of the Vegas Strip, or the tour bus on the road, or just anything. Oh, but here's one thing that was exciting when I was watching like a little bit because I get excited about stuff like this. So I'm from St. Louis, and like one episode they went to the St. Louis Galleria. I like gasped. I was like, oh my God, they're at the St. Louis Galleria. I like paused and picture of it because it would look like it was like they weren't actually filming at the St. Louis Gallery, but the outside was like it said St. Louis Galleria with the same signs and the buildings, and it was very cool as a St. Louis person. And even when they were on tour in the second season, because Deborah was doing a comedy tour, like she went to St. Louis too and passed by the arch. I was like, oh my God, they passed by the arch. I mean, that's how it is being from St. Louis. You don't always see St. Louis stuff being on TV shows or movies. So like I get excited when I see it being pointed out like that. So that's just a fun thing for me. But you can enjoy it too. Um, but yeah, I had fun watching Hacks. There were a couple of parts where I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I just didn't know where it was going or what the point of it was sometimes. But overall, the whole series is tied and well so together. Like the end of the second season almost felt like a series finale in a way, but they're they've been picked up for a third season, and I'm very interested to see where the writers can go with the next season of the story, based off of what happened in the season two finale. It's always so interesting to like finish a season of a show and just really be like, what is gonna happen next? That is what makes a show for real. You always want to be wondering what can happen next. And it's better if you can't even guess. It's so much, but if you can't even guess what's gonna happen next, because I was almost trying to think of like, okay, what could they do with season three? Um, I mean, I haven't like necessarily thought of anything yet because I only finished yesterday. But the show, I'm so interested to see where they go from season three. Especially, it'll be so interesting if they win Outstanding Comedy Series at the Emmys, or if Gene Smart wins again. They could be really picking up for sure. And I'm excited for that. For once I can be kind of on the um winning team possibly for Outstanding Comedy Series, which again has almost never happened. It's the whole time I've been watching the Emmys. But I'm excited for the Emmys. Hacks was such a good watch. Both seasons are streaming now on HBO Max. HBO Max only. You can probably watch it HBO on demand too, but it's definitely worth a watch. It's kind of like, I guess it's a fast binge, a little bit, but it's definitely worth a watch. Great characters, great writing, great cinematography, great acting, great storylines. It's just a great watch all around. Um, and I absolutely recommend it. And I so enjoyed the show, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you go check out Hacks on HBO Max. And then soon we can find out, if it was nominated. Of course, it will definitely be nominated, of course. But then we can talk about if it's really going to win. And then at some point when the Emmys come on, I will do an episode about what won and everything. But please go check out Hacks on HBO Max. I absolutely recommend it. And I will see you next time with a brand new episode of Justin Talks TV. Bye.